Nathaniel Grant sat alone at the window table of the bustling cafe, reviewing investment portfolios on his laptop. At 39, he'd built a tech consulting empire worth hundreds of millions, but personal connections had become casualties of his success. Lunch alone in crowded cafes had become his routine, surrounded by people, connected to none. He was deep in financial projections when a soft voice interrupted him. "Excuse me, sir, can I sit here just for a minute, please?" Nathaniel looked up to find a young woman standing beside his table, leaning heavily on crutches. She wore a striking red dress that would have turned heads anywhere, her blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail. But what struck him immediately was the prosthetic leg visible below her dress, and the exhaustion and vulnerability in her eyes. "Of course," Nathaniel said immediately, closing his laptop and gesturing to the empty chair. "Please, sit down." The woman carefully maneuvered herself into the seat, leaning her crutches against the table. She was breathing heavily, clearly in pain, and Nathaniel noticed her hands trembling. "Thank you," she said quietly. "I just needed to sit for a moment. The other tables are all full, and I've been standing too long. My leg hurts." Before Nathaniel could respond, a little girl, maybe 5 years old, appeared beside the woman. She wore a pink dress and had blonde hair like the woman's, pulled into braids. "Mommy, are you okay?" the child asked with concern. "I'm fine, sweetheart." This nice man let Mommy sit for a minute. The little girl looked at Nathaniel with serious blue eyes. "Thank you for helping my mommy. She tries to be brave, but her leg hurts a lot." "Sophie, don't bother the gentleman," the woman said, her face flushing. "She's not bothering me," Nathaniel assured her. He signaled the waitress. "Can I order you something? Coffee? Food?" "Oh, I couldn't impose. I just needed to rest for a moment." "You're not imposing. You're accepting an offer." "Please." Nathaniel looked at the little girl. "And what would you like, Sophie?" Sophie's face lit up. "Hot chocolate?" Her mother started to protest, but Nathaniel was already ordering hot chocolate for Sophie and tea for the woman. "I'm Nathaniel, by the way. Claire. And this is my daughter, Sophie." Claire managed a tired smile. "Thank you for this. You didn't have to be kind. Kindness doesn't require obligation. It just requires noticing." Nathaniel studied her face, seeing pain beneath her attempts at composure. "Are you okay? You look like you're hurting." Claire's eyes filled with unexpected tears at the simple question. "I'm fine. Just a difficult day. I lost my leg in a car accident 2 years ago. Usually, I manage okay with the prosthetic. But today, I'm on my feet too long, and the socket is rubbing wrong. It's excruciating, but I had errands to run and Sophie to pick up from school." "Where's your car?" "I don't have one anymore. Can't afford it. We take buses." Nathaniel felt his chest tighten. "Where are you headed?" "Home. About 40 minutes by bus. I just needed to sit before attempting the journey." "Let me drive you." Claire shook her head. "I can't accept that. You're a stranger, and you've already been so kind." Sophie tugged on Nathaniel's sleeve. "Please, mister." "Mommy pretends she's okay, but I can tell she's hurting. She needs help." Nathaniel looked at this exhausted single mother trying to maintain dignity despite obvious pain, and made a decision. "Claire, I'm not going to take no for an answer. You're in pain, you have a child to care for, and you're facing a 40-minute bus ride. Let me help, please." Claire looked at Sophie's hopeful face, then at Nathaniel's genuine expression, and finally nodded. "Okay, thank you." As they walked to Nathaniel's car, he noticed Claire trying to hide how much each step hurt. Sophie held her mother's hand protectively. Once, in the car, Claire gave directions to a modest apartment complex across town. During the drive, the story emerged. Claire had been a graphic designer before the accident. Her husband had left her shortly after she lost her leg, unable to handle her disability. She'd been raising Sophie alone while trying to rebuild her career, but chronic pain made full-time work difficult. "I used to be so confident," Claire said quietly. "I wore red dresses and heels and felt beautiful. Now I wear red because I'm trying to remember that person, but mostly just feel broken." Nathaniel pulled over, stopped the car, and turned to face her directly. "You're beautiful," he said simply. Claire's eyes widened. "What?" You're beautiful, not despite the prosthetic or the struggle or the pain. You're beautiful because you're raising a daughter alone, working despite chronic pain, and still finding the courage to wear red dresses. That's not broken, Claire. That's extraordinary. Tears streamed down Claire's face. No one said anything like that to me in 2 years. Not since I lost my leg. Then people are idiots, Nathaniel said bluntly. You're one of the strongest people I've ever met. Sophie piped up from the back seat. I told Mommy she's beautiful, but she says I have to say that because I'm her daughter. Well, I'm not your daughter, and I'm saying it too, Nathaniel said. So maybe you should start believing it, Claire. When they reached Claire's apartment, Nathaniel helped her inside, carrying Sophie and Claire's bags. The apartment was small but filled with Sophie's artwork and evidence of Claire's graphic design work. Thank you for everything, Claire said. You've been incredibly kind to strangers. Nathaniel pulled out his business card. I own a tech consulting firm. We contract graphic designers regularly. If you're interested in freelance work that you can do from home, on your own schedule, call this number. I can't accept charity. It's not charity. It's work. I've seen your portfolio on your wall. You're talented. We need talented designers. Call if you're interested. Over the next months, Claire began working for Nathaniel's company, creating exceptional designs that impressed his entire team. But Nathaniel found himself calling her more than was professionally necessary, checking on her well-being, inviting her and Sophie to company events. He started showing up at Claire's apartment, with better ergonomic chairs for her workspace, with doctors who specialized in prosthetic fitting, with toys for Sophie. Professional boundaries blurred as Nathaniel realized he was falling in love. 6 months after that calf encounter, Nathaniel took Claire and Sophie to dinner at an upscale restaurant. Why are you doing all this? Claire asked. The work, the help, the attention. I'm a single mother with a disability. You could have anyone. I don't want anyone, Nathaniel said. I want you. The woman who asked to sit at my table for just a minute and ended up changing my entire life. Nathaniel, I'm not the person I used to be. I can't do everything I once could. I have limitations and pain and bad days. So do I. My limitations just aren't visible. I'm lonely and disconnected, and I built a fortune, but forgot to build a life. You showed me what strength really looks like. Not perfection, Claire. Perseverance. He took her hand. You told me that day you wore red to remember the person you used to be. But I see the person you are now, and she's more beautiful than any version from the past. Because she survived, adapted, and kept going despite everything. Claire's eyes filled with tears. I'm scared of believing you, of hoping this is real. It's real, and I'm scared too. But Sophie told me her mommy needed help, and I've discovered that helping you has become the most important thing in my life. Sophie, who'd been listening quietly, said, Does this mean Nathaniel can be my dad? Claire laughed through her tears. We're getting ahead of ourselves, sweetheart. But Nathaniel knelt beside Sophie's chair. I'd like that very much. If your mom says yes. A year later, Nathaniel proposed to Claire in the same cafe where they'd met. He'd arranged for that exact window table to be reserved, decorated with red roses. This is where you asked if you could sit for just a minute, Nathaniel said, getting on one knee. That minute became an hour, then days, then months of the best conversations I've ever had. I don't want just a minute with you, Claire. I want a lifetime. Will you marry me? Claire, crying and laughing, said yes. At their wedding, Sophie served as flower girl, proudly announcing to everyone that she'd known from the beginning they were meant to be a family. In his vows, Nathaniel told the story of that first meeting. Claire asked if she could sit for just a minute. She was exhausted, in pain, struggling, and when she apologized for imposing, I realized I'd spent years surrounded by people but connected to none. She taught me that true beauty isn't about physical perfection. It's about the courage to keep going when everything hurts. He looked at his bride. You wore red that day to remember who you used to be. But I fell in love with who you are now. Strong, resilient, real. Thank you for asking to sit down. Thank you for letting me into your life. Thank you for teaching me what it means to see someone fully and love them completely. Claire squeezed his hand. Thank you for saying I was beautiful when I felt most broken. Thank you for seeing past the prosthetic to the person. Thank you for showing Sophie and me that family isn't about perfect bodies or circumstances. It's about perfect love. Sophie raised her juice cup. Mommy asked to sit for just a minute, and the nice man said she was beautiful. So remember, asking for help can lead to wonderful things. And everyone is beautiful when someone loves them.